Hello everyone and welcome once more. Today we look at reciprocal, square tables and square root tables. So we have a question here. So we first find the reciprocal of 0.3654. So we are going to express or write that number in standard form. And we have 1 divided by 3.654 times 10 to power negative 1. So from the tables, we are going to check the reciprocal of 3.65, and then on the column where we have 4, we are going to subtract. So the reciprocal of 3.65 is 0.274, and 4 we read that to be 3, so we get 0.2737. The reciprocal of 10 to power negative 1 is 10 to power 1. Or in short, the reciprocal of 1 over 10 is 10. So this comes to 2.737. So that is the first part. The second part, we have the square of 4.151. So again, from the table, we get the square of 4.151. We get this to be 17.22. We add 8. That is the column of 8 of 1, sorry. So on adding, we get this to be 17.230. So we have the first part and the second part. So we are going to combine that. So 2.737 minus 17.230. And we'll get the answer to be negative 14.493. We are supposed to leave our answer to 4 significant figures. So counting from the left, we are going to therefore have our answer as negative 14.49. Negative 14.49. And that is it. So moving on to the answer part. So we earn M1, M1 and A1. So making a total of 3. So moving on to question 2. We have using tables of square and square root, reciprocal tables to evaluate 10 divided by root 0.625 plus 4 divided by root 164. So we are going to first find the square root of 0.625 and 164 separately. So we are supposed to write the number in standard form. Sorry, not in standard form, but in such a way that it has an even power. This is 62.5 times 10 to power negative 2. Then from the table we check the square root of 62.5. We get this to be 7.9057. We add the square root of 10 to power negative 2, which is 10 to power negative 1. So this comes to 0.79057. Again, we check the square root of 164. We write the number in such a way that it has an even power. So this will be 1.64 times 10 to power 2. The square root of 1.64 from the table, again, we get this to be 1.806 times 10 to power 1, the square root of 100. And we will combine this, and we get this to be 12.806. So therefore we will have 10 divided by 0.79057. We add 4 divided by 12.806. We are now going to find the reciprocal of the two numbers and then multiply by 10 and 4 respectively. So the reciprocal of 1.2806, so we write the number in standard form or the reciprocal of 0.79057. So we write the number in standard form as 7.906 times 10 to power minus 1. So we read the reciprocal from the table, and of course the reciprocal of 10 to power negative 1 is known to be 10. So we'll have 0.1266, we subtract 1, that is the reciprocal of 7.906. We get this as 0.1266 we multiply by 10, the reciprocal of 10 to power negative 1, and we'll get this to be 1.265. Then we are supposed to multiply these by 10. So 10 times 1.265, we get this to be 12.65 as the answer to the first part. So we move on to the second part, whereby we look at the reciprocal of now 12. So the reciprocal of 1.281 times 10 to power 1. So writing it in standard form, and we get the reciprocal from the table. We'll get these as, so 1.281 times 10 to power 1. So the reciprocal will be 0.7813. Then for the column 1, we are going to less 6 and get 0.7807. Then the reciprocal of 10 is times 10 to power negative 1. So we find our answer to be 0.07807. So now we multiply this by 4. The 4, so 4 times the reciprocal of the square root of 164, we get 0.31228. So then we combine our answer. Our first answer we get in the first part, that is 10 divided by root 0.625, which was 12.65. We add to 0.31228, the answer to the second part, and we obtain the final answer as 12.96228. So that will be the answer, or the final answer should be given like that, no rounding off unless otherwise. So that is it. So we'll produce to the third question. Use tables of reciprocal only to evaluate 1 over 0.325. Hence evaluate the cube root of 0.000125 divided by 0.325. So we'll first of all start by finding the reciprocal as earlier asked. So this is, so we write the number in standard form, and then we find the reciprocal from the table and from what we know from the general knowledge. So the reciprocal from the table, the reciprocal of 3.25, we'll get these as 0.3077 multiplied by the reciprocal of 10 to power negative 1, which is 10 to power 1. So then this answer therefore will be 3.077. Once we have that, we can go ahead and find the cube root of that number, and we can separate the number to have the numerator and the denominator, or to write the number in fractions. in simple terms. So this will be 125 divided by a million. So we find the cube root of both the numerator and the denominator independently, and then we can combine to find the final answer, which we shall multiply with our reciprocal. So we get the cube root of 1 is 125 is 5, and the cube root of other million is 100. Sorry, I forgot to put the cube root. I used the square root sign, but that should be the cube root. So we should have 0.05 times 3.077. So this is the same as 5 over 100 times 3.077. So we multiply 5 by 3.077 and we get this to be 15.385. So we divide this with 100 and we obtain the final answer to be 0.15385. 1585, and that should be the answer. So thank you for watching. If you are to subscribe, kindly do so.